Moving on, we have two action items tonight. The first is a discussion of possible action on City Schools Committee meeting, future agendas, and schedule. And
I'm going to just start the conversation. So we just want to let you know that the cities and school staff are meeting 2 to 3 times per week. And there's this partnership, it's going full steam ahead. And to make the most efficient use of our electeds' time, the city staff is proposing and recommending that the city schools meets on a quarterly basis instead of on a monthly basis.
I'll move that.
So I also want to let you know that Mayor Asher is in support of that, and also Councilmember West.
Call the question.
well, I guess I'd like some discussion first and hear from Mr. Quinn and what the...
I'm very comfortable with where we are at this point as far as regular meetings. I mean, we've got a lot of communication going on right now between the city and the district. Cindy and I meet, and Dave meet weekly with Sabrina, the city manager's office, and go over any major issues that are going on and make sure that the topics that come up here are being addressed on a regular basis. So I'm very supportive of the fact that that this group meet quarterly and that we can keep you fully informed as that process evolves.
John, if I may, and if a problem or an emergency arises, we can always call a special meeting. That's
Correct.
a brilliant idea. Spend your time, instead of talking here, building the
That's right.
school.
So if we were going to change it to a quarterly meeting, my suggestion would be to go April, July, October, and January,
Right.
which aligns up with Dave's schedule quite nicely.
Very good, very good.
I guess...
Your motion?
I guess my question would be, at this time where we're like, getting closer and closer to ECCL opening operation, a joint operating agreement signed. Is this the right time to do this, or maybe we should get through the JOA, or move a little closer, I guess, to... I don't know if this is, I want to defer to what you're thinking, but I guess I also want to know, it seems like we might be getting busier.
Well, I think that one of the things we're seeing is that there's duplication of presentations to the school board and to the city schools, and also the council and the city schools. And so we just felt like it was the right time to go ahead and do this on a quarterly basis. If needed, we can call a special meeting if something important or urgent comes up.
And what, I haven't looked at it myself, what do the bylaws say in terms of how a special meeting is called? Is that just the two co-chairs calling it, one co-chair? Is there a...
Or staff can call it in, special meetings may be called by the officers or the majority, and then you just specify when you would like it and the place and the time.
And if there is a time crunch on the joint operating agreement, we could indeed have a special meeting just focusing on JOA, which might be appropriate in itself.
Right. Sure.
So I still am calling the question.
Yeah. So let me just make one suggestion along this lines, and I want to hear from some of my school board colleagues. The COC, we just amended the bylaws there to change to the less frequent meeting, but we had it that the chair could call the special meeting, which is a less cumbersome thing than having a majority vote, or would we do this by email or something? So I guess I would suggest we consider, if we're going to go this route, to consider amending the bylaws to make it easier to call a special meeting.
Well, they can be called by the presiding officers or by a majority of the Emeryville City Schools members.
So there's an or in there?
Yes.
Okay, and the officers, meaning
chair and co-chairs?
The two co-chairs, presumably?
I mean, you got two co-chairs, that's right. So.
Yeah. I think Member Dwin was first, and then Member Simon.
I mean, I'm just used to being here every month. I mean, I've been like this ever since I got on the board. But, I'm willing to give it a try with the stipulations that if something comes up, we can call a special meeting, especially around the JOA. I would just, in doing it quarterly, meeting quarterly, it was just concerned about how lengthy the agendas and the meetings will be, if they will be any longer. But I guess we'll work on that as we, as we go down the road. But I can support it. It's something new. It's something different. Let's try it, and if it doesn't, doesn't work, we'll come back and we talk about it again.
I'm in support of the concept. I think there's a couple of details that would help it to ensure that we don't lose the communication that this was set up for. Right now, there's no city and school that meets more often than we do. So I think it's a good idea, but to make sure that we can get a quorum, I'm concerned that getting 10 people schedules coordinated when you're calling a special meeting can be difficult. You might want to sort of have still have a regular monthly time saved and tentative so that people can mark it in their calendar, but that the meetings only happen if the chairs decide. Otherwise, you may call an emergency meeting and not be able to have a quorum. And that would be my one concern, because that could really hold up the JOA, it could hold up construction and all of that. So if there's some way to have tentative dates marked.
Well, you could always keep them as the first Thursday of the month, and that would be the special meeting that would be called,
Right.
so that.
The other possibility is to make sure that the agendas for those quarterly meetings aren't overly lengthy. A lot, as you say, a lot of these agenda items are presented at the school or the city. If there was some way that the superintendent and the city manager could sort of give a heads up to each other of upcoming items that would otherwise
Certainly.
be going to these meetings, and then we can invite each other to each other's meetings. And say, like, for instance, the Safe Routes to School presentation, if that's already gone to City Council, if that's going to be going to City Council, obviously, anything with the word school in it, let us know about it so we can be invited. It means we might come to more City Council meetings, and it means City Council might come to a few more school meetings for an hour or two. Don't have to stay for the whole meeting, just the
Or
agenda
5
item.
hours, I know, right? just before, I just wanted to add real quick. I think that is a fabulous idea. I think we will get the opportunity to have a different type of discussion during our city schools committee meetings, and I think that's an appropriate time as well. So I look forward to a quarterly meeting of some kind. And the other piece, piggybacking on what Josh just mentioned, if there's a way, I mean, it's important to me. Communication has been a concern of the district. It has absolutely been a concern. I won't, it is what it is. But I think it's really important to make sure, just to echo what Miguel said as well, making sure that we all know what each other is doing is really important. And so I just thought about, I don't know if a brief or if there's some communication that can be shared among, things that would normally, I don't even know what things are, but things related to this project, if there can be some summary provided routinely to both parties, I think will be helpful, because I think we don't want to get to a place where we're finding out at that meeting something that happened 3 months ago. And I think that's, just between,
Right.
Both sides. If there's some way we can have some type of routine communication about the project or, anything related, I think would be helpful.
So one suggestion I have is, on the city side, there's a twice a month newsletter that goes out to anybody who, in the community, who wants to subscribe. And I know there was a website, which I don't really visit, for the ECCL project, but if someone could blog onto it and then pass the link out to all of us, then we can click on that as a way, and then anybody who wants to go onto that website could also read it. But then, by proactively sending the link to the committee members, then we could click on that and read that at our leisure. So I propose doing that as a way of keeping the communication going.
Well, John, if I may, On
please.
the city side, we have a written monthly report from every department, and my expectation would be that as part of, your report, Cindy, that you would reflect any actions that have been taken or anything that should be considered, and that could probably be copied
That's
by
right.
the school, and you would have this ongoing narrative flow
I think
to the
that'll
elected officials, which is
Yeah.
critically important.
Yep.
So-
Sure.
That changes your
That'd be
report
great.
a little bit,
Yeah.
rather than
great.
each kind of program of
That'll
the
work.
city.
Yeah, we can put a cap,
Good,
small.
good.
Yeah.
So I second.
So we have a motion and a second. You want to restate the motion, or do you have what the motion is?
So, yes, we're going to be changing 2.2 of the Rules of Procedure of the Emeryville City School Committee for the regular meetings to be held quarterly. They will be held January, April, July, and October,
More often as needed.
and more often if needed,
With,
with a special meeting called.
with a, all members of the council and school board cognizant of the first Thursday of the month for the slot for special meetings if and when needed.
That'll work, yeah.
And we have second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
One thought. We have student members that do a fabulous job in providing us with the current. It would be great if there's a way to make sure that communication, I'm not giving you guys more work, but if that communication could definitely be shared or blasted,
Right.
I think would be, because you guys do timely, it's relevant, and I think it's important to make sure your voice is not lost in the flow there. So if you, maybe if there's a way to include, or the school can make sure we provide the update from the students to, both, so.
To piggyback on that, if also going forward for our monthly meetings, if we could somehow put some item from the students on the agenda for a discussion, whatever it may be, whatever they can come up with, that they can put on the agenda where it can be a discussion that can be led by them, and it could be more of a discussion between students and the elected officials, whether that be, out of the 4 quarters, 1 quarter, or every quarter meeting. But, I would really like to see more conversation between students and the elected officials at this meeting.
Great idea.
What do the students think about that?
They're like, sure.
Yeah.
I'm graduating.
Yeah.
Sure.
We think it would be a great idea. We would ourselves like to interact more with the members.
Cool.
So that gives you a quarter to think about
April.
what the hot topics are that you want to bring to us.
Okay.
Does that work? Now, if we're reducing our meetings, that reduces your ability to come and interact with us. So we want to see a higher level of commitment for that quarterly time frame. Does that work?
Yeah.
Excellent. All right. Any public comment? I should have asked earlier on that item. Seeing none. Okay. Our cameraman recorder is against the motion, but let it be recorded.
That's fun.
All right. We're on to our second action item, which is appointment of co-chairs. I guess it's a yearly